Now this is Devin again, and I'm back to just tell you guys about the wonderful, wonderful music of Candy Dulfer. Now Candy Dulfer is a wonderful artist, but really what strikes my attention about Candy Dulfer is she's been doing this ever since I was a little kid. And she's not that old. So when I was a little kid, maybe around the age of 6, 7, 8, you know, maybe even back in my kindergarten days, as a kid, I used to be driving to school with my dad, and all we would listen to is jazz. You know, that smooth jazz type, contemporary, modern type jazz. You know, and that's what I grew up with. I didn't grow up with Charlie Parker and Coltrane and all those other big cats from the, you know, the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and even before then. So, you know, Candy Dulfer really made a big impact on my life because I didn't know who Candy Dulfer was. But when I started to research artists and research songs that continually come on the radio, I was like, what? Candy Dulfer? This is Candy Dulfer? She does the song Lily Was Here. Now that was like, you know, an anthem when I was a kid. I just listened to it all the time and I wouldn't think anything of it. Now this song is like 10 times more important than it was when I was a kid, but at the same time I can remember times when I was listening to it while I was a kid. Because it was that important then, and now it's this important now. But the thing about it is, when I think about not even just Candy Dulfer, Dave Koz and David Sanborn and all those big jazz cats that came up when I was, you know, a young kid, you know, Kenny G. When I think about all the soap operas that they used to play the saxophones on, and different songs like Faces of the Heart by Dave Koz, I advise anybody to listen to it. It's the song that used to come on General Hospital back when it was in the 90s, early 90s. So yeah, that was another song, and I never even thought I would be playing it in the saxophone. I never even thought I was going to play a saxophone when I was young. But all these memories are coming back, and the saxophone really helped me, you know, think about the positive times of my childhood when I was actually listening to music. And when I was actually listening to music, my parents brought me up on not just jazz and not just pop, but they also brought me up on country and a wide variety of music. The Beatles, all these other, you know, different genres of music that stereotypically people don't think black people listen to. Now, as a musician, I have to now take away what I've learned as a kid and what I've done as a kid and bring it into my music mix. Now, I can't just listen to one genre. I have to listen to more than one because that's how I was raised. Now, a lot of people are like, well, how can you listen to this and how can you not listen to that? Well, yeah, it does get hard at times because listening to a different genre that you never listened to, like maybe reggae or maybe classical for people who don't listen to classical music, it may be really hard, especially, you know, people who don't even like bluegrass, you know, listen to bluegrass types of music. But a lot of these genres are fading and people can't really listen to them. But when I go back to what Candy Dulfer and Dave Koz and Dave Sanborn did, I can incorporate that all throughout my genres with jazz. And see, these are why these artists are so influential to me, because when they were doing jazz over pop type songs or pop type instrumentals or accompaniments. They were doing these things over a wide variety of genres of music. They were soloing, they were putting their sax spin on whatever genre of music they could have got their hands on. And I didn't even realize that even the hard bop, even the hard, you know, chord bop with the tenor saxophones that you never really think about, even I used to listen to that when I was a kid. Rarely, but I did listen to it. So I love Candy Dulfer and what she does because it helps me remember what I did and what I learned and what I listened to as a child when it came to music. Candy Dulfer does this song called I Wish You Were Here. And I was like, well, this is a new song. No, it's not a new song. It was out when I was younger. And if I knew back then what I know now, I would have been so much broader in the stories of music, in the stories, or in my stories of music, in my stories of jazz. Yeah, so I could bring to you a bigger story, but, you know, you have to work with what you know now. You know, that's the part of life. But Candy Dulfer is a wonderful artist. And Candy Dulfer was one of the first saxophone players that I even started listening to and looking up to. Because when you have a saxophone in your hand, you want to sound a certain way, you have to listen to a certain type of jazz musician or rock musician or whoever you want to listen to, right? Candy Dulfer was that first saxophone player that played, you know, in my opinion, you know, Candy Dulfer made the song Pick Up the Pieces, but it was actually written by another band. You know, it wasn't just her music, but when I heard her play it, that was the first time I've ever heard it, and that's the first time I was exposed to it. So, there, in theory, I thought, hey, well, Candy Dulfer made that song. Well, she didn't, but she played it to an extent that I was like, hey, well, she might as well have made that song. So, you know, guys, just you gotta understand, you have to get an artist like Candy Dulfer, in my opinion, that just, you know, just epitomizes what you want to do with your music, what you want to sound like. So when Candy Dulfer gets on stage and does her thing, you can be like, oh, I wish I would have did something like that. Now, it's never going to be the same, and you don't want to be exactly like your artist. Contrary to what I said, you don't want to be exactly like your artist, because there's always a Candy Dulfer. There's a Candy Dulfer. You don't want to be Candy Dulfer. You want to be whoever you are. You want to take what she does and maybe add something different to it. You might want to take something from a whole bunch of different artists like Dave Sanborn, Kaz, and Dave Brubeck, and Charlie Parker, and Coltrane, and Miles Davis, and Sonny Rollins. Maybe you want to take something from all of them. You're never going to sound like the one artist. So continue to listen and get that passion for music that Candy Dulfer might have, or Dave Kaz, or Dave Sanborn, and do your own thing with your music. Look up to someone. Make yourself feel the same way, if not better, than I feel about Candy Dulfer. Because not only is she a phenomenal saxophone player, she's a female. And a lot of people give females bad raps for playing saxophones at all. And you don't even stop to think, hey, well, anybody can do this. And everybody has something they need to say. And it's not just man, and it's not just female. So, this is Devin. I love Candy Dulfer. Guys, just pay attention to my channel. Comment, rate, subscribe, like. But I love Candy Dulfer. One of her best CDs, I think, was Candy Store, which I listen to like every day. Candy Dulfer is just a wonderful artist, and if I've ever gotten the chance, or if I ever will get the chance, because I've never seen her play live, it would be the most spectacular thing. But yeah, Candy Dulfer really helped me out when I was you know, beginning on altissimo. That's a higher notes on the saxophone, and I was, you know, just listening to her. And really, Candy Dulfer is just a phenomenal artist in my opinion. Guys, you really need to go and check her out. She's wonderful. If you can. She's not necessarily American, she's international. So she's played a lot with Maceo Parker. Maceo, we all love Maceo. Funky, because he used to play with James Brown. So may James Brown rest in peace. But yeah, so check out Candy Dulfer, guys. I can't stress that enough. Check out any of her CDs. I guess I would advise you to check out Candy Store, which came out in '07, so it shouldn't be as much, but it's a wonderful CD. You're gonna get the price. You're gonna get the price worth. So I'm telling you, Candy Dulfer is just amazing. Her music is astounding to me, and the way she plays her saxophone, it just reaches into my soul. Because when you're playing, in my opinion, you're not only playing with your spirit and your passion, but you're playing to connect to everyone in the audience's soul. And no, they may not clap, and no, they may not applaud. But if you're doing what you feel as though you need to do, and you're doing it the way you want to do it, which comes with practice, you always speak through your soul. Like Candy Dulfer, Dave Kaz, Dave Sanborn, Eric Darius, or even Charlie Parker, Coltrane, Sonny Rollins, anybody, Brubeck, Brecker, anybody. Any of those saxophone players. You'll be just like them if you could just speak. And that just comes with practice. Speak through your soul. And I think Candy Dulfer doesn't amazing job of that.